Hello everyone, and it's good to be here. It's the 50th anniversary of the Public Complaints Commission, and I do hope you're enjoying yourself and enjoying the occasion as well. Now we're going to be speaking with a past Honorable Chief Commissioner. It's our pleasure, of course, to be in the presence of Honorable Barrister Chile Igbaowa. The funny thing is that we're actually doing a documentary on you right now, and I know that in the office when I have to pronounce that name, when it comes to my tongue, I keep saying Honorable Chile Igbaowa. So it's great to meet you.
You're doing well.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you were an Honorable Chief Commissioner of the Public Complaints Commission.
Yep.
Tell us what your past experience as an Honorable Chief was when you were there.
Okay, thank you very much. And happy Golden Jubilee to the Public Complaints Commission, by the way. Of course, I came into the Public Complaints Commission. I met a situation where an agency as big as the PCC, with 37 state offices, manned by state commissioners, federal commissioners manning the state, who were of the status of ministers of state. And I discovered that the place was very poorly funded, very, very poorly funded indeed. I think I made a budget of about 1.something billion.
Wow.
For the commission. And offices that had been started several years back had been abandoned. And there were no vehicles for the state offices, for the commissioners at the state level. Of course, including myself. When I came here, I only inherited a rickety vehicle, which could hardly make any trips to anywhere. And I also met a situation where even payment of staff salaries was a problem. Funnily, I had always disbelieved it because my daughter happened to be a staff of that place several years before I ever came there. And each time she spoke about not being paid salary, I said, how can a federal agency which is on first charge not pay salaries? I didn't believe it until one day I had to inquire from somebody who was close by, and he just confirmed to me that yes, that they were having difficulties in paying salaries. I didn't find that funny because the National Assembly, I mean the Public Complaints Commission is under the supervision of the National Assembly. Luckily, I was coming there as a former member of the honorable member of the National Assembly. So I had to, to talk to the office that you couldn't have an agency under you so poorly, funded. So that was the first challenge that I met: poor funding, poor office environment. I went to offices. As I went around, I saw you go into an office and you see plastic chairs of different colors. And I say, even you are going to go down to the stage of using plastic chairs, will you just buy one color? They say, no, sir, we brought it from our houses.
Oh my.
So it was as bad as that. Staff having to bring plastic chairs from the houses to the office to be able to sit down. And of course, no tables in most cases. A registry which is supposed to be a standout place in every agency was very rickety. Paper keeping there was very poor. And staff morale was generally low, and I couldn't doubt why it should be, because that should have been the case. Where staff are not, staff welfare is not given much consideration. So those were challenges. And then I also had those who had shown interest in the place for a long time. Started telling me that, look, PCC Nigeria is recognized globally as one of those with the most robust legal framework. And yet, PCC Nigeria has not been a member of an international body the past 15 years. And that they were worried. There's a particular professor who was worried because he wrote his PhD thesis on PCC. And he said each time they are cited, they say, well, but we don't hear about them. And so he gets embarrassed. And he was a fellow at the Commonwealth. And so he made particular advances to me that he has tried this with a couple of past chief commissioners and it has not worked. But he was encouraged to pursue it with me, because when I came in, he actually sent an offer of an induction course in the UK fully paid by him. And I replied that what I met on ground did not encourage me to start traveling. So I appreciated his offer, but I wouldn't be able to take it. I could take it at a later date. And he was called me and he was surprised. He asked people behind me, who signed this letter? And when he got to know that I signed it personally, he decided to approach me in person. And he said, so I didn't know you signed the letter personally, but now that I know you are the one, could I come over to discuss with you? And I said yes. So he flew from the UK on an appointed date. I came in, expressed a lot of concern regarding the law status that the PCC Nigeria was being regarded in international circles because they are constantly absent. And that his assertion in his thesis that the Nigerian PCs had one of the most robust legal framework was now in question. Because what is a robust framework doing when they don't see them? And of course, when we started the interaction, I discovered it was true. PCs in Nigeria is one of the few in the world that handles both public sector and private sector. Most are only public sector, period. And in some jurisdictions, you even have different ombudsman for children, you have different ombudsman for the military, and so forth. But the Nigerian ombudsman is all-encompassing.
All-encompassing.
And so he felt that should be the place where should be coming to understudy to see what was going on. So those were the challenges. Of course, the commissioners were dispirited. Most of them who took up the appointment had a few days said, well, I didn't know this was how the place was. I had professors, I had retired generals, I had my colleagues, senior lawyers, and so forth. Good potpourri. And they were expecting much more than that. Of course, I had the benefit of one of my former colleagues in the National Assembly who had been a commissioner there. And he said, well, this is how he felt too. And I think those challenges actually gingered us up to try and do something differently.
Fantastic. Now it takes us to the part that you met Public Complaints Commission like this. What do you think you were able to change or improve upon as you became the Honorable Chief Commissioner of the Public Complaints Commission?
Yeah, there was issues that troubled me. For instance, the Public Complaints Commission Act provides that the Chief Commissioner shall make rules, operational rules, for the working of the Commission. And I was coming to the place 40-something years after, and those rules were never made. And I called the legal department and said, why is it that 40-something years after the place came in, you don't have operational rules? So how are you guided? So one of the things I did was to put up a small committee. I gave them guidelines based on the provisions of the Act on what should be in the operational guidelines. And then we were able to, for the first time in 40-something years, produce the operational guidelines for the Commission. At least you could now set standards on on how the place should be run. Secondly, I interacted with the National Assembly. At the time, the Speaker, at the time I came in, was a colleague who also influenced Speaker Dogara, who influenced my appointment. And after he finished his tenure, of course, Bajabiya Amila became the next speaker. We were also colleagues with him in the DC. So there were people we knew as colleagues in the House. So it was not difficult for me to deal with them, to go see them, talk things out. And luckily, by the time I was leaving the Commission, I think we had moved our budget to over 5 billion, something like that. It was still not enough, but, you know, budget improvement has to be progressive. Otherwise, it delivers shocks in the economic system. So I understood with them, but I told them there were minimum that we had to have. So we had that. And I discovered too that there was a lot of backlog of debts to contractors, unpaid staff allowances, basic things as you know, leave allowance. A staff is supposed to get his allowance while traveling on leave. So it's not supposed to be a debt. we had those things. And I discovered too that there was an approval for a supplementary appropriation which had been pending. And so I took it up with the Minister of Finance. I had difficulties. I had to go to the presidency. I had to write to the president. Later, I had to meet with the Vice President, Osibajo, to implore him to get that money paid so we could clear some of the debts. And I'm happy that even though the money did not come, I had gotten the approval just as I was leaving. But afterwards, I was told the money came in, so it was able to help the system. The other issue is that I ensured that we had, fundamental improvements in office furnishing. I took it as a challenge because you can't take your friend to your office if he's going to see you sitting on a plastic chair.
Yeah.
So I, got some designers to give us, customized furnishing, which we did for most of the office. And I saw that some of the priorities that were there were not my priorities. I said, you want to come and paint the building from outside, the inside is not neat, and you don't have a furniture inside. So I had issues with the Federal Ministry of Works. And I think in the end, they didn't implement that budget because I insisted that instead of coming to put curtains and painting the building outside, let me have the furnishing and the internal workings. We disagreed on it. I think they had the agenda. In the end, I decided that it was better for me to forego it than just have an office painted outside, which those coming inside will know it is not, it's not what they see from outside. So we had the issue of furniture done. I also saw that the staffing arrangement was such that there will be stagnation. We had, this is a commission in charge of public complaints. And we had only one department of, handling complaints. And so I created a second department, public sector investigation and private sector investigation. So we had two, directorates. That expanded the career projection for those who were, in the cadre of investigation at the headquarters. But I didn't stop at that. I went ahead and created directorates, full directorates in all the states. So that meant that you could have 72 directors plus 10 at the headquarters, 82. The idea was to open up the top so that you don't have people stagnating. You have to grow up and look forward that you could be a director in the course of your career. Different from what we had, only one department of investigation. But the majority of staff are investigation officers. So where do they go to? Because otherwise you have the finance and accounts, you had the, legal. Legal was not even the department. It was the other innovation that I brought. I now made legal a full department because not just because I'm a lawyer, but I could not see how you have a lawyer spend his career in the PCC and does not have the opportunity of being a director. So there was that infighting on who gets what. Once somebody got to certain position, they started looking at, where else they could go. So I opened up the top from just about 10 directors in the whole commission to about 82 directors that you could have. I also, in addition to that, undertook promotions as at when due. Also made sure that salaries were paid on a particular day of the month, whether I was in Nigeria or not. We do it online. I'd already given instruction. So you just send memo to me online and I give you approval online, you pay. So my physical absence would not affect the welfare of the staff. We tried within the resources available from time to time to give some, some largesse, like at Christmas or at Easter or Salah, you try to give something small to the staff at least, so that they don't see other departments, their colleagues in other departments, say, oh, we had Salah gifts, we have this. And they needed to have that. And so we also did that. And we started also to promote the e-complaint. So I started installing e-systems in states so the linkage between the states and the headquarters would be easy, and then complaint management would also be made easier. So you could complain online and follow up online to get your results. The other issue I saw was that there was laxity in the system. You have a file and the letter is written to an agency that was offended, and you see 20 reminders, no response. So I started issuing, clear instructions on that. So I started issuing summons to ministers. If, and of course I first put a circular that if they write to you, and if within 21 days you are not able to respond, send an interim reply telling us why you are not able to respond. Because after 30 days, I will issue a summons. And when I started, some ministries found it difficult because ministers started asking them, who is this person summoning ministers? And of course, they had to refer to the legal departments. And they told them, yes, he has the power to summon ministers, anybody who in that status. So when we started issuing summons to ministers and other things, then the ministry set up. We were also, in spite of the fact that there are some flaws in the law, because the sanctions are not very clear. People would say, okay, if I don't do what they do, but you can develop sanctions from outside. I know of a company that was employing a white man, and after the employment terms, they started maltreating him, and he came in. And when I passed the complaint, I ordered that they should pay him all his entitlements. And the company was hesitating, and I said, look, I'll write to immigration to withdraw your expatriate quota. And they know how difficult it is to get expatriate quota. So they knew withdrawing it wasn't the issue, because the company will be gone forever. So they quickly came and pleaded and said, can you allow us to pay from time to time? I said, you have to come and pay in my office. So they used to bring the dollars there, then we give to the white man. The white man was married to a Nigerian lady, and I felt it was part of the level of integration. I ought not to suffer those consequences. So we now made that. And then, because it was just a matter of letters and letters and letters, people did not realize. So I constituted court sitting. So I was hearing cases in court. So you are invited, you appear. If you like, you can bring a lawyer, that doesn't matter. You will come on your own, fine. But the case will be treated, and then the decisions are either made there and then, or if there's adjournments, you are given a date, and you have clear instructions on what you're supposed to do. So that made a lot of people to sit up. We had media houses that were employing people and not paying. We had some smaller, medium agents, enterprises that were also employing people and not paying. And the time we started getting them to appear before us, it started giving good results. The other thing I saw was that PCC remained largely unknown. And when I inquired, the public relations department told me that, well, long time ago there used to be radio programs. And so I approached the Radio Nigeria managing director, and I told him we were interested. He said, well, you have backlog of loans, that's why we discontinued. I agreed with him, okay, we don't have plenty of money, but we will start paying. But what I require is that let us get back on air. So we also reinstituted that aspect of publicity. We were on radio every Monday, dealing with public. It was a calling program. So people were calling from all over Nigeria, and that helped to open up and popularize the PCC and inform the people that you had an agency here that you could run to and get solutions to your problems. I also signed an MOU with Barakate Radio and Television, and so once in a while I would appear in person, but most of the time the directors of investigations will appear, so that complaints made there. And I tell you that the first day that we implemented that MOU, we had to come and lay canopies in the office.
The number of people,
that in bus, they just bus loads of complainants were brought from Berekete. Because there was a misunderstanding between Berekete and PCC before, which cut off the relationship. But I spoke to ordinary President Ahmed. I told him, see, you are not governed by law the way PCC is governed. PCC can be taken to court. So we must obey the process of the judicial process. But you can pass your judgments on radio. People may decide to ignore it, but we wouldn't want our own judgments to be ignored. So because of that, we have to follow due process to ensure that what decisions we make can stand the test of judicial considerations. I, had a lot of interaction with agencies, including the courts, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, President, Court of Appeal, all the courts. I met with them from time to time, and then we were able to establish, so that they were able to realize that here was an agency that could complement their work. And they confessed to me that, look, we were working. For instance, the president of the president of the Court of Appeal said, look, when I was a magistrate, I knew of PCC then. But it's decades that I have not heard about. I thought they were no longer there. And that if you are truly there, you can solve some of our problems. Some of the small cases that come, we can push them to you actually, because you can handle them. So we did that. And I collaborated with the other agencies like Immigration, EFCC, ICPC, and so forth. And then I was able to take Nigeria back to the international community. We paid our debts and got reinstated into the African Ombudsman Association.
AOMA.
And then I remember that Prof, when they were having the first meeting in Kigali, he was pleading, are you not going? I said, I'm going. He was still not convinced. He would call me and remind me. So one day I said, Prof, I'm not just going, I'm going to contest for election. He said, no, please don't try it. You have done very well, but don't go and bring disgrace. You are not being in this place for 15 years and you just coming back. I said, we have paid our debts. So I take it that we have always been there, always been absent. And we went there, and I was elected the regional controller for West Africa unopposed. Because when we went there, luckily it was the year also for constitutional amendments. And I proposed 14 amendments to the Constitution, all of which passed through except 2. By the time we finished, they said, why are you not on the ESCO? I said, well, we don't enter ESCO by ourselves. We're elected there. And we were elected in spite of the fact that of the 10 West African countries that attended, only Nigeria and Guinea were English-speaking. The rest were French-speaking countries. So, in fact, they held a meeting at night in which they nominated 2 people for the 2 slots for West Africa. So when we went in the morning, and they brought it up and said we should sign the minutes of the meeting. I say, I asked the then regional coordinator, so in which language did you convene this meeting? Because I've seen only French speakers. I asked Ombudsman of Guinea, were you at this meeting? She said no. And I said, well, I wasn't there. It means what you're talking about is just the French-speaking West Africa, not the entire West Africa. So we're not party to it. It's okay, so do you have a person? And Guinea said, yes, we were interested. And we want Nigeria to be there. And they said, well, we have to put Niger as a reserve in case you are rejected. I said, it doesn't matter, let us be rejected on the floor. So we can have the reasons. But by the time we participated in the constitutional amendments, I was able to be elected unopposed. Later on, we also hosted the Global Ombuds occasion, which was for the first time ever. The idea was that of the Prof. And Prof said he had this idea for the first time that you hold a global conference of ombudsmen, which is not a talk shop only, but exhibition. So that every country comes in, has a stand where they exhibit what they do, and then they're able to have people there to explain how they operate. They will display their literature, their culture, and everything. And that he would be glad if Nigeria could be the first to handle it since it was his brainchild. And I said, I will take it up. It was challenging, and I think that was one of the biggest challenges that I had. Because the money that we were expecting to come in didn't come in. I was able to now have a collaboration with the Minister of the FCT. And I'm thankful to the Permanent Secretary because the Minister was slow in getting on. But then when the cabinet was dissolved and before the reappointment of ministers, I got on with the Permanent Secretary. He brought the idea. And they sponsored up to 60% of the cost.
Wow.
They had vehicles customized for the occasion. I also have collaboration with the chairman EFCC. The chairman EFCC, what's his name? I forgot his name now.
Okay.
In fact, when I was dealing with the people, said that person doesn't deal with people. And they were surprised when in the end, he not only cooperated with me, he provided the vehicles and security to lift all my international guests from the airport to their hotels and back. Just missing his name. I should forget his name. Magu.
Okay.
And people say, how can you expect something from Magu? Magu.
As Ibrahim Magu?
Yes. He was completely in it. And in fact, the first day I went to his office, when I entered, he ordered the staff, say, stand up, do you know this person? That is in this country that you people in other countries when I go, he is even at my department these days, he's under ombudsman. So stand up for him. So from that day, we collaborated very well. So FCT took up about 60% of the cost. Magu took up about 15% of the cost by providing vehicles and security to move our people from the airport to their hotels and to the venue and so forth. Then I also collaborated with the Comptroller General of Immigrations. So we now had a table where my staff were. Our guests didn't have to go through immigration checks. You just go to the PCC table because there was a banner for the for the ombudsman. That's your line. So you just follow that, drop all your your passports with the PCC staff, and then you are led out and vehicles carry you to a hotel. The process is done. Your passports are stamped, and then they bring you to your hotel. So they didn't have to go through the problem of immigration at the airport. So they also took, I would say, they also took up to 5% of the cost.
Because they made things easier.
Easy, exactly. So what was supposed to be a difficult project ended up so well that only those of us who were in-house knew our problems. Because meanwhile, while we did this, the FCT said, look, I will not give you money. I said, give us some money too. We need some money too. But they said, no, only in kind. We do these things. Logistics. So I had a problem. I didn't have sufficient money now to fund the commissioners from the states. But they had to be there. Somehow we managed to give them some peanuts to enable them to come to that location. But in the end, it was an overwhelming, success for us. We had a vice president who was supposed to open Osibaju. He sent his special advisor because he was out of the country on that day. We got the Senate president, we got the chairman of the Senate committee, chairman House committee. They were all there. So those who came from outside saw it was a wonderful event. We knew the pain. They didn't know the pain. They only saw the glory of it. And in the same year, we hosted AOMA in Abuja here. We were able to hold the ombudsman at the extension here. Yes. So everything went well. The AOMA was opened by the then Secretary to Government of the Federation, boss Mustafa. So everything was fine. And I enjoyed the cooperation of the AOMA president, who was the chief ombudsman of South Africa. The announcements went on for months. I would make my announcement would be played, then how we played in support. Saying, come to Nigeria, we're all going to Nigeria, and so forth. And at the end of the ombudsman, the global ombudsman, I was now elected a director of the International Ombuds Institute in Vienna. First again, Nigeria had not been to that length. And a few weeks to the completion of my tenure, I was to become the president, African region of the International Institute, Ombudsman Institute in Vienna. Well, when my Zambian colleague said, you have to take this, I said, well, I'll take it, it's going to be short-lived. And he said, well, it's not transferable. So I took it, but I couldn't transfer it to my successor. So we lost it out. I don't know how well we are doing in that area now, in the area of international engagement. That's great, good to know.
Very well.
So these are some of the, I would say, we try to improve the state offices too, in terms of descendant staff welfare.
You've mentioned so much, a rich history of performance, of achievements, and everything. You know, now looking back, what do you wish to have done differently when you were in office?
Well, I think that maybe I should have pursued more funding, because my pain was that these abandoned offices, most of them still, I'm sure they will still be there. I've not had any information about them, but at least I know it's only 2 that I dealt with. And they say charity begins at home, so I finished the one in Benue first. And then I did one more. And we also had introduced a tradition. As you go around, you hold sittings. And we did it in Nasarawa State, and it was exciting. We were able to deal with 2 critical cases involving the local governments on the spot, and we got them resolved. So it's a culture that we needed to grow it, you know, the more. And I wish that we had more time and then more resources, we would have been able to do that a lot more. And then, of course,
as we go around all the states.
Yes.
And see what is actually happening.
And then where you have weaknesses, try to put up, you know, an example so that it could be followed. And then, of course, to continually improve staff welfare. We had issues with the appointment of secretaries, but of course, when I came in, I was told what had transpired. And I had challenges because people said, well, this is what happened. But after getting all the information, I knew that somebody was superseded. I said, it's not fair. So I appointed her the next secretary. And then after that, when I wanted to appoint the next secretary, I had a challenge. So, okay, you came and you appointed a Yoruba person as secretary. Now you would want to appoint a Yoruba. I said, it's according to career civil service. If you have no good reason to jump somebody, why do you jump him or jump her? So I went ahead. But of course, for the first time, I was able to get a slot at the NIPS for training, you know, for PCC. It was the first time ever that I worked the slot out, and we got one slot. And the person, when the exams for the appointment of secretary was finished, 2 people actually came tops. And there was a competition. So I said, okay, you will be secretary, you go to NIPS. So the person I didn't appoint as secretary, I sent him to NIPS. Then I appointed the lady secretary. I called the 2 of them and said, look, you have a longer service period ahead of you. She doesn't. If she doesn't get the secretaryship that I give you, she will retire before, you know, you retire. So let her take the secretary. You go to school. When you come back, you can still have it.
Okay.
Somehow after I left, the guy became secretary too. So I think he wouldn't say I did injustice to him by sending him to NIPS. More happily, he came all the way and spread news everywhere that he never dreamt
That he will become secretary.
Or having MNI after his name. Not secretary, MNI.
Oh, wow.
And that it was one of the biggest things in his life. Becoming secretary, he had passed the exam, so he was expected to be appointed. They say, you go to NIPS, let her take the secretaryship now. And then she did the NIPS, got the MNI, still came back and was secretary. So
fantastic.
Those
now,
are some.
An overview of your time in office. What advice would you give for an incoming or a present sitting Honorable Chief Commissioner to succeed on this job?
Yeah, I think one is a collaboration with the National Assembly. Two is to recognize your independence. Because when I got there and I started the process of asserting our independence and our powers, it was strange to most ministries. Who is issuing orders to a minister? I mean, who is issuing, warrants to a minister and all that? But that's what the law empowers you to do. So you must do it, otherwise. Two, I would encourage a lot more publicity for the agency, because it is very helpful to the downtrodden. There are cases, if they know that PCC can handle it, and of course, those that PCC cannot handle, you refer it. We used to do referrals. You bring the case, we treat it, and then we're able to refer you with clear explanation. This is the status of the case. But we think that this is now to be handled by the agency. So it aids the people who now know where to go. The other issue is staff welfare. I introduced the issue of investigators' jackets. I think you need to put pride in the work. You go out, you see FCC, they have a jacket showing their FCC. You are sending your staff to ministry, they go there, who are you? Wear your jacket. When you go there, you are seen as PCC straight away. And then, if you don't have some minimum welfare, a shabbily dressed officer going to investigate somebody, they say, no, please, not this one. I say that's why you need some minimum welfare, so your staff can go out with pride. Not just a jacket, but it should be worn over a neat and presentable dress. And that can only happen if their welfare has some improvement. So staff welfare is very critical. The other one is, labor management. There's nowhere you go that labor management will not be an issue. Luckily, I had interactions with labor before. So when I came and labor issues came up, they were strange to me. I was locked out. But I joined them to dance at the gate. We danced together. And because they didn't believe, when I told them I'm still fighting for this money, they said, they didn't believe me. It was when I said, okay, when we finish dancing, milestone Minister of Finance. And they did. And they went there. And they were told that, yes, your chief has been here a couple of times. We're working on it. And then we were able, after that, it was now the minister calling me and saying, Chief, let's talk. And I went there and said, well, this is what I've been pushing all this while. Who had given me this money, I would have cleared all these allowances that are outstanding and so forth. You wouldn't have had this. So she understood. And that was the time that she said, okay, the only way that this thing can be done is you have to go back to the presidency. I came back, wrote to the presidency and said, this is the issue. And luckily, the presidency now, seeing what had happened, approved. So when you deal with labor as as partners and not antagonists, it helps the system. Some people in management at that time felt I was loose-handed on labor, but I knew that's the way to go. Labor cannot do anything against management if you are doing what is right. It's the only way you have something to hide. That you shy away from labor. But if you don't have anything to hide, join them, let them come and let them see the books and see what's going on. Let them assist you in areas that maybe as a management style you don't want to be seen, pushing too hard on some things. Because labor will not care whether the government say they have no money. You may be thinking that I know that the money is difficult. Labor wouldn't care. So they may help you now meet midway. So these are the issues. And I think that the culture of insisting on the independence of the commission is very important. The Public Complaints Commission must not act in subservient status to anybody. You are a quasi-judicial body making decisions. You must make them. There's no how you cannot not offend somebody. But if you offend an offender, the better for those who are not offenders. They get the benefit. So I would think those are some of the issues that would help in the management of the system.
As a patriotic Nigerian, can you honestly submit that the Nigerian Ombudsman has been evolving for almost 5 decades. And what advice can you also really offer that can really reposition the Commission on a better stead for a more effective service delivery in the years ahead?
Okay, thank you once again. First and foremost, the Commission certainly has evolved over the years. There were years of law, because during military regimes, you don't have a PCC in that sense. Because you don't have a chief commissioner, you don't have commissioners. It's just the civil servants there who are working. And because the system knows you can subjugate them, you can threaten them with dismissal and things like that. So for the periods of military rule, the commission lost steam. But in the times that, of civilian dispensation, where you have appointed chief commissioner and commissioners, those years mark the periods during which the PCC can actually, unravel the problems in the system. And the PCC is like the policeman of the system. Because of that, it's not going to be well loved by everyone, particularly those who offend the system. An example is, yes, I was appointed by the National Assembly. But in my first year of service, I had to summon the clerk of the National Assembly.
Oh.
And he said, when he got the letter, he called me, he said, Honorable, I know you will do this kind of thing. Why? Because a director who was a lawyer was moved from his office as director and given an office which had no relevance. Secondly, she was not given a physical office, but somebody who was an assistant director was appointed to take over from her and came and occupied her office. And she was without an office. And I said, you can't do this. It doesn't happen. So I had to summon the clerk of the National Assembly. Of course, we were friends. I haven't been a woman, but we was, not just that I was a woman, but we were friendly with the then Omolori Ataba. We were friends. So he said, I'm not surprised, because he knew me, both in my, interaction on the floor of the House and outside at committee levels. So, but they respected it. We decided that that lady has to be reinstated and that her office must be given back to her, or an office of equivalent must be given to her to occupy before this assistant director could occupy an office. And they implemented it. So those are some of the things that you need to stand firm to be able to get your work done and implemented. So that needs to be done. But going forward, the Commission must continually publicize its work. Not as propaganda, but by the things that they are doing. When you do a lot of things that the public benefits, they become your friends, and then the ones carrying your message around.
They spread the word.
They spread the word around, and people are able to know that yes, we have an institution here which is operating for the benefit of the common man. I know when I made this remark somewhere, some judicial officers, I said, even though they say the court is the last hope of the common man, I think that for those who cannot afford court fees, the Public Complaints Commission is the last hope of the common man. And I had some pushback from some judicial officers. Say, how dare you say that? I said, I'm saying it because go and look at my sentence. I said, those who cannot afford court fees, the PCC is there for them. That's the substance of my message. I'm not saying the court is not the last hope of the common man, but there are common men who cannot even go to court.
What advisory notes do you want to actually give to the state actors, non-governmental agencies, as well as the Nigerian publics at large in connection to the Commission's mandate and also as its, of course, impactful efforts in the polity?
Yeah, I mentioned from the onset that the legal framework of the Nigerian Ombudsman is the most robust. It covers both public and private sector. It covers civil authorities. It also covers military authorities because we oversee the military pensions. So these things must be understood. Now, the public's, particularly the private sector, if they have had an idea before of what an ombudsman is supposed to be doing, they may think what the Nigerian ombudsman is doing is out of the mandate. They need to be made to know that the bigger framework is within the mandate, that it covers both public sector and private sector equally. And I think that is part of what encouraged me to establish a department of public sector investigation and private sector investigation separately, so that there's no confusion. And when the way I said knows what is private is private. The issue of schools came up. They say, okay, where do you place the school? I say, put public schools in public sector. Put private schools in private sector. Simple as anything that's public, put in a public sector. Anything private, put in the private sector. And within a short time, they were able to sort out the schemes of work for the two departments and come out clean with what was supposed to go to public sector and private sector. So the private sector should know that the ombudsman is there to assist them. It's sometimes more difficult when you are taken to court. It may take a long while, but the ombudsman can solve those problems, including Mama Put.
Yes. You
can come to ombudsman. Maybe the guy who is pounding the yam for you, you are not giving him money. It comes to the report. You are an employer. So you fall under the jurisdiction of the PCC, and they can actually sort your problems out. And we did sort some of those low-level problems during my time.
Fantastic. It's been a great pleasure to have spoken to you, sir. And finally, just before we go, can you please say a goodwill message as the Ombudsman celebrates its 50th anniversary?
Happy
in Nigeria
golden anniversary celebration to the Public Complaints Commission Nigeria. You've done wonderfully, considering the resources available to you that I know. And I encourage you to keep up the flag flying and continue to strive to do even better. Happy anniversary.
It's been a rich experience. It's been informative for me, especially hearing from him, talking about his experiences as the Honorable Chief Commissioner of the Public Complaints Commission. It's been a great pleasure to have had you in the house, sir. And we wish you many more successes as you journey through life. That is how it has been on this episode, the special anniversary episode of the 50th anniversary of the Nigerian Ombudsman. Of course, that's the Public Complaints Commission. It's been my pleasure. Please don't go nowhere. The program continues. Continue to enjoy the anniversary celebrations. My name is Lola Oduba.